So the main animation controls are found at the bottom of the program window, right here, and two additional important animation controls are the time slider and the track bar, which are right here. There are two animation modes, auto key animation mode and set key animation mode, and I'm going to talk about both of them while learning how to actually animate an object. First, I'm going to talk about the auto key right here, and while this is on, any changes to an object's position, rotation, and scale are automatically keyframed or recorded. So if you're not familiar with what the keyframe means, they are basically a location on a timeline which marks the beginning or the end of a transition, and we'll see what that means in a minute. So if I press this, you'll see that it turns red, which means that the auto key now is active. This kind of reminds you that the animate mode is on, and whatever you do to the object, it adds keyframes. So let's see how to actually animate an object. I'm just gonna get out of the the auto key. I'm going to create a box. I'm going to turn on the auto key mode. I'm going to drag the time slider to a time other than 0, let's say the keyframe 30. And I'm just going to rotate my object. And as you see, this adds keyframes. So I started with a box that hasn't been animated, so it had no keys. I turned the auto key on, and I rotated the box a few degrees. And this action, my rotation, created keyframes at 0 and 30. So when I play the animation in the viewport, the cylinder rotates the amount of degrees over these 30 frames. So if I hit play right here, oh, see? It creates that transition from keyframe 0 to 30 based on the changes that I wanted to make in time on this object. If I want to animate the object in if I wanted to animate the object between 3 points using the auto key, I'm just going to go over to frame, let's say 60, and I'm going to rotate it back. Let's see what happens. So it just went from point A to point B to point C, and you can just create as many points as you like. While we are here, these are the other controls. This goes back to the start of the animation. This goes to the end. This is play and stop, of course. This is next frame, and this is previous frame. We also have some time configuration here, and the dialog provides settings for frame rate, time display, playback, and animation. So for example, my end time is 100, but if I want, I can add 300 frames. And now my timeline shows 300 frames. This is the speed. If you want to set your frame rate, you can choose one of the standard frame rates here, or you can choose custom and just specify a frame rate in the FPS field. Okay, so these were the most important, I think these were the most important configurations for now. You should use frame rates of 30 FPS for video, 24 for film, and lower rates if you're doing animations for web or media. That's pretty much what you can do with the animation, with the AutoKey animation. I'll just delete these for a second and I'll delete all of them. Delete key. Okay, delete selected keys. And I just wanted to show you that you can actually animate other features on the object. So if, for example, I put an FFD4 modifier on the object, and let's move to 60 frames, for example, and I want to move some control points around. Doesn't have to look good, but you know, you'll see that the keyframes have been set automatically. And now if I play this, this is what's happening. Now I have to remember to actually get out of the auto key, because now if I start working on my object, forgetting that I'm actually in the animation mode, all my changes are actually going to be part of the animation, and we don't really want that if we want the appearance of the object to stick throughout the animation. So let's see. Yep, it's becoming an animation.